6:38, and we have a few delays out there. Quickly, we'll run down a quick list. Is Andrew in there? Do you have the latest
I do, Bill. I do.
Delays because of this lake effect snow this morning?
Yeah, we got Adirondack.
There's that lake effect warning till 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Adirondack, Central Schools, 2-hour delay. Camden, Remsen, Rome Public and Parochial, all on a 2-hour delay. Remsen and Rome Public and Parochial have no AM pre-K. Then we've got Hamilton, Holland Patton, and Morrisville Eaton Central Schools all closed.
All right. In studio right now from Eyewitness News WUTR is Marc Barracco. And, Mark, didn't you start here as an internship when you were here at one point?
Yes, indeed. About 2 years ago, I think I was in between
Shows
semesters.
you the brilliance that comes out of this building.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, look at the training we offer up here.
And he's a relief anchor now. So
yeah.
And a relief anchor. So
pretty
the
cool.
least you could have done is brought breakfast. I mean, you didn't have to pay for this education, did you?
Well, I guess so, but
Yes, he did.
Try and get an expense write-off.
Okay, so you guys are doing a story, which is an interesting approach to this whole congressional race, because we're watching this giant thing called a congressional run, just mowing down these candidates.
Yep.
People like Brindisi and Griffo that have cited not only the expenses, we're hearing like $2 million it'll cost to run for the race, but then all these other names that have been thrown around that are considering it. And families, I mean, that's really what this story is all about, right?
That's really the central focus. I think the most commonly used thing was the sacrifice to your family. Not so much the financial toll, but just in general. I think Brindisi, everybody thought was the likely candidate to step up, but having two young kids already, with the commitment that he already has as an assemblyman going back and forth to Albany, that commute in general throughout the week is tough on him and his family. So to make a 5-hour drive back and forth to Washington, you're working 4 days a week down there.
And I almost feel like you can't, there's so little to accomplish. I mean, how do you accomplish something as a junior congressman in Washington right now with the gridlock that is out there? It's just incredible.
And that's the same thread with everybody else who has talked about what are they looking for in a potential congressman, and they talk about the real kind of blockade that's being formed and how, it's not just about your party that is why you should run or why you should decide to serve your country. You're elected by the people for the people, and that should be your sole purpose.
So what is so tonight is part 2, and what does that specifically talk about?
Tonight, part 2, again, I wanted to get as many voices in this part as I could, because I thought that's the way of really telling how difficult it is, not just the decision whether or not to run, but really the sacrifices that you make, and then on top of that, what are we doing to solve some of these issues in Washington, because I think it really takes away from the confidence that we have as a nation in terms of getting our lawmakers to come together, work across the aisle. I think when you look at Richard Hanna, he was a great example of that. Yes, he did choose the Republican line, but he was willing to work across the board.
Now, some would criticize that, though, saying, and did, by the way, saying, you should be standing up for these conservative values only, and working with the other side or on those issues is something that they took issue with, right? I mean, so it's almost like it is a thankless job. You go there and you try to be that independent voice, and you get beat up over it.
Well, I think that goes back to the sacrifice line that a lot of them have taken, and I think if you look at it as a local leader, you're going to get criticized no matter what you do. You could leave it with a surplus. You could leave with things that were accomplished during your administration, and somebody will say, well, that was the previous guy that came in. That wasn't you. Right. So I think in a lot of ways there probably is that aspect to it, and I think if you talk to somebody like our county executive or Senator Joe Griffo, they've done great things for our area, and I think that's a part of the reason why they just said, let's not mess with a good thing right now. We're doing good things. We're leading this region forward. Why don't we continue to do that? And I think again from the county executive standpoint, we've seen great things happen for the county. He's able to get to all parts of the county and still be able to have that balance.
And playing devil's advocate here, you say great things. There are many that believe that none of this is really going to happen. So do you think that plays a role in keeping them here, saying, listen, if you're Griffo or if you're Paceni or if you're Brindisi, saying, hey, we do believe this is going to happen, and we're going to stick around to see that it does happen.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you've heard the naysayers. You're from here.
Absolutely. And listen, I think even in our line of work, we have people that say, well, you didn't really tell the story the way it should be told, or, you're not covering it from both sides. And I think, again, we have to be objectionary. We have to look at both sides of the argument and say, what really is the important part here?
All right. We have in studio later this morning, George Phillips will be in studio, and he's a candidate from the Binghamton area. Down there, he'll be in studio, first time meeting him. Mm-hmm. And although we've spoken to him, we haven't met him in studio. He's in on the Republican side. Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney is all in. She's been in. She was the first in. She was in when Hannah was still, quote-unquote, in. She's now running commercials, which started this week, TV commercials. Yep. And then, of course, you have the Democrat, David Gordon. Now, who else are we hearing?
Ray Meyer has been in the discussion. We've been trying to reach out to Ray, and I think from his standpoint, he's
and he's kind of going through this whole thing, same thing, right?
Still thing. And
it's funny because I heard 2 weeks ago he's out. I heard a week ago he's out, but we still haven't heard him officially say he's out.
Right. I think again it goes to let's get it straight from the person that's making that decision and not from their.
We have the guy in Casanova who's a Republican. He owns the vending company. Is that what it is? He is one that seems to be, that name is being tossed around. I'm hearing that he screened in front of the Republicans in Madison County, and they endorsed him over Assemblywoman Tenney just 2 nights ago. You hearing that one?
I'm hearing that one as well. And again, it's really wide open at this point. And I think what's the question that I hear from a lot of people, out in the public is, where are all the Democrats? Because
all right, listen, have you heard of this candidate?
It's such a lonely girl.
Have you heard this one yet?
You know they are afraid. Each one is a jerk.
I beg of you, Bill. Please.
Some of these words
as
don't.
A former intern, please.
Some of these words don't actually rhyme, and I apologize for that. I'd had a couple of cocktails. What are you going to do?
He's trying to use his pull as a former intern to get you to stop playing music.
That's right, and that goes a long way.
I'm telling you, that is. I know people would say that with tongue in cheek, but if you're her. Why not? Right? I mean, what do
you got to lose?
What do you have to lose?
I don't.
That's
I
how
really don't know.
And if that rumor is true, what do you have to lose? Right now, your only opponent would be Dave Gordon, who.
Would you like to see that debate? A Gordon versus
Oh my God! I'd pay
debate.
a lot of money for that debate.
The entertainment.
Matter of fact, let's
we
set
may
it up.
host
Even if they don't run, let's set it up.
Well, that would be a good one to host.
It would be a good one. The other one I'm hearing is a name that I had not heard as of yet. Is Bill Morehouse. That name is being tossed around. Could it be possible that the comptroller in the city of Utica would be willing to jump in? I got to tell you, what's interesting is all of those that aren't jumping in, and really, if Meyer doesn't run, we're looking at we're the only local we're looking at is Claudia Tenney, and you can count Dave Gordon, I guess, in there as well. But to challenge them, there'd be nobody local. The guy from Casanova, which is Madison County, but still it's somewhat out of our metro area. Is it possible that Bill Morehouse, would that be a good run for him?
Well, I guess he's ultimately, we talk about the toll on the family.
We've reached out to him. We'll see.
We'll find out. I don't know.
If he's willing to
I'm not going to wade into the waters here.
The name is being tossed around. And I know a lot of names have, but I really feel, though, that at this point, if you would ever consider it, now would be the time. I mean, it would be the door seems to be open.
Wide open.
And of course, your story tonight is going to be all about the fact that while the door might be open, there's a toll to be paid, and it's a pretty hefty one.
Pretty hefty one. And again, I think that whole region, that 8-county region, that's a lot to represent, and then still have to commute back and forth to Washington.
Right. Still not willing to get in on that one, huh? I'm hearing it. Christine's working at it over here too. I'm just saying. These are things we're hearing. So anything is possible. Who would have thought we'd be where we are right now in this race? Well, all of these guys that you thought were going to get in, that didn't get in. 647. Thanks. That's on tonight at 6 o'clock?
At 6 o'clock on WUTR.
648. Christine with an update right now. Good morning. Christine Bellino. Good morning.
Good morning, and this news update is brought to you by Edible Arrangements. Valentine's Day just a few days away. Call 3-8 to order your sweetheart a delicious and fun edible arrangement, or go to ediblearrangements.com. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will try to regain her footing tonight in the next debate. The field of Republican presidential candidates continuing to slim down, and a community in Maryland mourning the loss of 2 veteran sheriff's deputies.
A debate tonight. That might be, who would have thought that debate would even matter at this point? But it might be a very, very interesting debate tonight, which is on CNN. Is that one CNN? I don't know. It's a 9 o'clock debate tonight. Lake effect snow warning in effect right on through early tomorrow morning. Snow showers with a high of 17. A low of 6 tonight. Cold weather on the way in. Cloudy skies tomorrow with a high of 26. And then for the weekend, how about single digits? Right now, they're saying on Saturday, we won't get out of negative territory. A high right now on Saturday of 1 below 0, and then on Sunday of 7 degrees, and then we warm up again next week. My son is in Denver, Colorado, where in the mountains yesterday it was 55 degrees. In the city of Denver, it hit 70 yesterday.
Wow.
That weather usually makes its way out towards us. We'll see what happens. Maybe some warmer weather on the way. Currently 15 at WIBX.